I'm Daryl Owens. Welcome to A World of Difference Embracing Neurodiversity. A recent blog post on TechNation asked an intriguing and important question. In a technology-driven world, how is it possible to improve the world for everyone without everyone's input? Of late, more companies are answering that question by diversifying their workforces through the abilities, insights, and talents of a wide array of different thinkers. Rising high on the punch list is incorporating employees who are neurodivergent, workers who think and learn differently. That's because research and anecdotal success stories confirm that different perspectives and cognitive skills produce tangible benefits to the bottom line. As more companies embrace the mix of neurodiversity and technology, more parents are steering their differently able children into tech. Their hope? To nurture the strengths and aptitudes that their learning differences may afford. Abilities that parents hope will afford their children the kind of sustainable, stable, and independent future every parent wants for their child. On this episode, we visit a New York program that transforms the lives of students who think and learn differently by teaching computer science thinking and technology skills to upgrade their education and future employment prospects. Next, we travel to a Texas private school for students with learning differences that is training the next wave of American defenders to man the cyber front lines. Later, you'll meet our latest difference maker, the neurodivergent mind behind a coding education platform designed to help school districts equip students with the computer programming skills necessary to enter the workforce or to succeed in college. First, what does a mom do to find ways to engage her neurodivergent son? Launch a series of tech workshops, of course. That was the seed that blossomed into Tech Kids Unlimited. The Brooklyn, New York program uses computer science and technology skills to empower children with attention and learning differences. Senior correspondent Cindy Peterson brings us the story.
As technology continues to intersect every area of our lives today, job seekers increasingly will be looking to make megabucks in megabytes. But where do neurodivergent individuals fit in? The answer is everywhere. Because the spectrum for neurodiversity is so broad, technical careers are often a better fit for the individuals with learning and attention differences. But sadly, there are a limited amount of training programs tailored for aspiring neurodivergent tech gurus. That's why Tech Kids Unlimited was founded, to change the paradigm for education and employment for neurodivergent students in technology fields.
Kids Unlimited is a 10-year-old nonprofit located in New York City, but we do in-person workshops and online workshops for neurodiverse students who are interested in computer science principles and technology skills. And what we've found over the course of, the 10 years is that students want to be producers and creators of digital culture, just like any other neurotypical student.
TKU offers 11 different programs, both in person and online, for students ages 7 to 21. These programs include coding, graphic design, video editing, music production, web design, and digital art.
They love it because they're digital natives and they grew up with technology, and that's how they communicate, and they want to tell stories, and they're telling stories through game design and video and through websites, and they are excited to be with us because it's a community of learners who are all very, very similar.
Beth founded Tech Kids when she was looking for training programs for her son and came up short.
Back in around 2009, my son, who's neurodiverse, loved technology, but there was no place for me to send him because he needed individualized and highly tutored support. And I saw that students with disabilities were not given coding classes, were not given opportunities to learn editing or game design or anything like that. And I just thought, okay, well, no one's doing it. Like, I guess we'll start to do it. And I never even meant to start a almost $1 million nonprofit, which is what we are now, serving over 500 kids. I never thought that TKU would explode in this way, but it's really wonderful that students with disabilities or neurodiverse students or special ed students, whatever the current lingo is that, we're calling students who learn differently, that students want to be involved in creating and producing digital products.
I like graphic design, and I like typography, font. We do editing of which graphic design or digital drawing or paper sketches and typography font.
My fellow Tech Kids Unlimited students and staff have assisted me since my first class. They provided me with educational and social and technological tools that have enhanced my overall learning.
I like to do video editing, photo editing, and other things like that. I worked on a video with a car racing video, and then putting a Fast and Furious soundtrack. I'm even thinking of being a YouTuber and Twitch streamer.
What we're really trying to do is to get students with disabilities to get a lot of tools on their resume in terms of technology and problem solving, and put all of those tools on their resume, and hopefully with that increase their chances to get future employment. We've gotten them through school, and there are wonderful programs out there, post-secondary, high schools, private, public, small classes, after school programs, et cetera. But we haven't figured out how to get them employed. And that is the part that is really, really scaring me.
For this reason, Tech Kids has created a career readiness program to focus on both the hard and soft skills necessary to get these kids solid employment when they graduate.
One program that I really love is an after-school program called the Digital Agency, and that is a program where it's a small little real creative media agency inside our nonprofit where we get students real jobs, and together they work on creating a real thing. It may be a logo. It may be editing a video, creating a website for a client, and they get to work together, and they get to understand what collaboration is and what criticality is, and what creativity is, and there's a final project, and then they get to put it on their resume saying, I had this experience. I have been a staff member of the TKU digital agency. Also, we pay them. The goal is to push as many tech skills onto their resume. And as well, the goal is to prepare them in regard to soft skills. And the combination of the hard skills and the soft skills is the way to be eligible for work in the 21st century.
Check out techkidsunlimited.org to find all the programs they have to offer. With a world of difference, I'm Cindy Peterson.
Thanks, Cindy. We continue with this. Recently, Newsweek published an article with this scary headline: How Hackers Outwit All Efforts to Stop Them. It's a cyber pandemic. The article noted that more than 70 million Americans are victimized by cyber crimes every year. Small wonder that the Bureau of Labor Statistics predicts a 28% jump in the demand for information security analysts between 2016 and 2026. At the Winston School San Antonio, students in the school's new cybersecurity and tech curriculum are learning the ropes in a program that teachers and students alike say allows kids who learn differently to download success. Senior correspondent Cindy Peterson again brings us the story.
At the Winston School in San Antonio, Texas, students from kindergarten through 12th grade have a place to thrive in a learning environment designed exclusively for neurodivergent kids. The main mission of the Winston School is to give students a well-rounded education, preparing them for a life of self-advocacy and collegiate success.
The Winston School San Antonio is a private college preparatory day school serving students with learning differences, and we have a particular focus on students who have dyslexia. So we have specialized programs for students with dyslexia, but our primary program is designed to meet the needs of all students with a variety of learning differences. Many of our students have struggled in traditional public education for a variety of reasons, not the least of which was emerging skills in reading, not having the correct intervention or the correct support that they needed that supported their learning difference. But that did not mean that they didn't have high levels of interest in coursework that oftentimes they did not have a chance to get because so much focus was on remediating or attempting to fix the problem. Here at the Winston School San Antonio, we teach the students where they are. We find out where they are, we think about their passions, their interests, we help to accelerate their learning by having highly trained teachers, and we teach our students the compensatory supports that are necessary for them to continue to thrive in a post-Winston experience.
In order to better prepare their students for careers in today's society, they recently added 2 popular technology courses, computer programming and cybersecurity.
Because we are a very small school serving just roughly under 200 students, it's very important for us to make sure that we provide a program that allows our students to have all of the skills and access to all of the programming that they need to compete with students, their peers, who are coming from larger schools, traditional education experiences. We look at the learning difference as their unique way that they see the world, and we use that unique way that they see the world to help provide for a wide range of experiences. With that in mind, we have had an incredibly high interest in coding, advanced coding and programming, and thinking about the world in which we live. We have many parents who work in the cybersecurity field, and knowing right here in our own community, the University of Texas at San Antonio offers the Cyber Patriots program, we became involved this summer. So we listened to what the students were saying. We want more opportunities for coding. We want more opportunities for programming. And we coupled that with what we know is an emerging field that is a field where students are able to code and program and think critically and evaluate information that they see. We determined this summer that we would start and have our students enroll in the cybersecurity program so that we could provide them with one more opportunity that aligns with the opportunities that are available to students who are in traditional learning environments.
And the students are loving it. Many students are finding out that what was once a hindrance to their education is now becoming their secret weapon.
With dyslexia and ADHD, the struggle was not being able to have enough time or help with the things I needed. And there was always going to be a little part of me that needed just a tiny bit more help than everybody else. And moving here to Winston definitely helped out with that. I have an amazing cybersecurity teacher, and he's very patient with what we need, and he definitely understands all of us and what we need as individuals with learning disabilities.
I'm trying to go into aerospace engineering, so I think cybersecurity will definitely help with coding and making sure everything can't be hacked into. Or
I feel like it's something I want to do as I'm older, but I'm still undecided. And with programming, I thought that'd be a good way to start. My parents have wanted me to do that for a while now, and I thought it's about time I started learning it.
A lot of neurodivergent kids will find that they excel at it simply because they see other paths that most people won't see. they'll see a different way to solve a problem that isn't the standard way, and sometimes that way might be better or faster.
I think kids sometimes, especially our population of students, they like hands-on stuff. They can actually build something and see it working. And I think that's what programming is. You know, you can write a little program and actually see the results, right away. Well, some kids have strength in some area, and some other kids have strength in another area. And the kids that tend to take programming and coding, they have strengths in high critical thinking skills, and learning through mistakes, and they're a little bit more patient than the other kids.
The Winston School is hoping to become a beacon for other schools to help kids who learn differently.
It's the added advantage that a student with neurodiversity brings to the table. The added advantage of being able to look at a problem from multiple perspectives, or from their unique and myopic perspective, which may not be the perspective of others. We find that some of our students, because of their high level of interest, can remain focused for a very long periods of time for problem solving. It's very similar to gaming, which we've also added e-gaming. So when we look at what e-gaming is asking students to do, it's real-time, fast, critical problem solving. We're asking students to, as a team, bring the different way in which you look at the problem to a group as a possible solution. We use data to drive all the decisions that we make, and we're really working on every 6 weeks when we have a rotation, moving students, advancing them, and accelerating them as quickly as we can. And we're also now integrating what we know about teaching styles, who has the best teaching style for that particular learning style, and what is the best program for that specific learning need, and who's got the training in that program, who's got the style for that, and we are really moving our students around. It's like what schools should be everywhere.
In only their first year, the cybersecurity team made it through 2 competitions and on to state finals, proving success and ensuring a future for the program. With A World of Difference, I'm Cindy Peterson.
Next, let's reveal our latest difference maker. As software entrepreneur Ness Blackbird saw it, the way that schools taught computer science education didn't compute, so he set out to reformat the system. He founded Blackbird, an online coding education platform, creating a simplified educational version of a programming language. Now schools across the country, including Curry Ingram Academy in Tennessee, are using the platform to teach students to code, including neurodivergent learners like him. Senior correspondent Cindy Peterson brings us his story.
Once bullied as a kid for being autistic, Ness Blackbird is now showing the world what being different is capable of. As a computer programmer, Ness has written his own programming language to better teach kids, especially those with learning differences, the art of computer programming.
In school, I was a mess. I was not like the other kids. For me, like, the great part of school was the teachers. And the kids were like, I always really wanted their attention and I wanted to be friends and stuff, but I was not good at that. I was actually very bad at that.
Ness got into computer coding in high school as he was naturally drawn to computers. He right away noticed a disconnect between how software engineering was taught.
I learned programming as most people learn it, the hard way. Learning to program in the way that we've always done it is honestly, it's misery. It's this process of banging your head on the wall over and over and over again until at last you smash down the wall. That's really what programming is like, because we've always been using engineering tools to teach with. You know, it's far, far too unfriendly for an ordinary student to get it, right? So we have to make it much, much easier. And to do that, you have to build something like what I've built.
As his own kids became older, he began teaching them his craft, realizing there wasn't a good program designed to teach kids. So he set out to create his own.
I started to get into teaching them programming, and first we used the graphical tools, which are they are the part of coding education that works, right? So there's graphical tools, they're basically games, they're educational games, and they are great. The problem with them is that they don't teach programming. They just teach a programming mindset, algorithmic thinking. And so, kind of the purpose of Blackbird has been to move past that into the next thing, which is syntactical programming, real text-based programming. It's taken a really long time to put something together so the student, they start to type in their program, and it has literally thousands of responses that it can give to say, you're making a mistake because you're trying to do this. You're trying to do that which isn't allowed, and here's why. Here's a link to the documentation. Here's a suggestion for all this stuff that it can respond to what you're trying to do. This is not how coding gets taught. What we're doing at Blackbird fundamentally is we're making a bridge between software engineering on the one hand and education on the other. So you have programming, you have education. Those are things which do not meet.
But thanks to Blackbird, now they do. Ness launched his program as a cross-curricular education coding platform used at schools across the nation for K-12 classes. Ness was able to visit Curry Ingram Academy in Brentwood, Tennessee, who utilizes the Blackbird program to teach kids with learning differences the coding world. Ness surprised the computer coding class and was able to work next to them and share some words of wisdom.
It's been nice to be able to see how students been able to individually pace themselves and then really grow through Blackbird. It's because we deal with students that are learning differences. It's nice for them to be able to then kind of work through whatever their issues are regarding code at their pace. And so I can see that from a teaching perspective as the code's been written, that's different from what their perspective is, because I can manage my whole classroom and see all the students and their progress.
I don't know, the whole curriculum of it, it's very, you build up to what you're doing and you can see the progress you're making. And I think it's very interesting because I feel like most programs, for learning how to code, it's all videos. And sometimes you kind of have questions. With this, it's kind of very okay, well, you figure it out. And if you don't know, then you can hit the show me. And then it's oh, okay, well, then you kind of back up and then you realize what you're doing.
I like that the coding program that we use, it takes you through the steps kind of incrementally, and it doesn't just give you a big task to do. It's very gradual, and it makes sense, especially for if you're new to coding. I think that the way the program is set up is very conducive to learning with ADHD because it makes it more interesting and it makes it more interactive than, say, hearing someone talk about it and then doing it on your own.
It was really great for my students who are on different learning differences to be able to see someone who's been successful at working through his learning differences and be able to do something that's been something that they're working on and actually practically are working with and helping them succeed. And so knowing that someone with learning differences can achieve high greatness, then they too can have that same potential.
To Ness, this experience was astonishing, seeing firsthand how his program is being utilized to help other kids like himself.
I'm so jealous of these kids here. I'm so jealous. I see them all together in a group, and they're all, they're all different. They're all, on one spectrum or another, and they're not being bullied. They're not You know, they're not finding themselves the odd kid out because they've all had this kind of experience. I'm so jealous. I want to reach the kids at Curry Ingram and all the schools who are not saying, oh, I've got to learn to code. You know, I want to reach those kids because they need this, they need data processing skills. They need analysis skills. And, you know, with the kind of tools that we've developed, we can do that. We can make that happen.
More information about implementing this for your child or school can be found at blackbirdcode.com. For A World of Difference, I'm Cindy Peterson.
Thanks again, Cindy. And congratulations, Nest Blackbird, for making a difference. And that does it for this edition of A World of Difference Embracing Neurodiversity. I'm Daryl Owens. I'll see you back here next time. You can watch episodes of A World of Difference on the Beacon College Facebook and YouTube channels and on the show's website, awodtv.org. The website also provides tip sheets and other resources for your parenting journey. You can watch the show from the PBS app available on your favorite streaming device, and you can listen on your favorite podcasting platform. Thank you for watching and supporting A World of Difference.